welcome back. It's so good to see you. So today we are going to be talking about what I've been watching for the month of April. I can never remember the month, so I always have to write it down over there. I love making these videos because I could talk all day about shows and movies and documentaries. It's like my favorite thing to talk about. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm not going to give anything away or anything like that. I'm just going to tell you what the show is or the movie, who stars in it, what's in it, what's it about, what the Rotten Tomatoes score is, and what I actually think about it. But anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, the first show that I watched is something called Hello Tomorrow, and this is on Apple TV. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 52%. Audience score gave it a 76%. It stars Billy Crudup, Alison Pill, and Hank Azaria. I love Hank Azaria. I don't know if that's how you say his name, but I love him. He's awesome. Anyway, so what is this show about? It's very interesting. I am obsessed with like the 50s, early 60s era, and this show is like that. Like you feel like you're in the 1950s, but it's like retro and futuristic at the same time. Like they have hover cars, but they're like 1950s type of vehicles, but they float by instead of like driving by and stuff like that. And people have robots for like everything. And like there's this TV dinner. This kid was having this TV dinner, and he just like he pulled it out of the box or something and pulled a tag, and then it just cooked itself right there, and then he was able to eat it. Like, what? It was crazy. A lot of the futuristic things were cool, but also it's like the 50s. It's very interesting. But it's about a salesman, I don't know. But he is a leader of like this sales group. They're these traveling salespeople. And what are they selling? They are selling houses or property lots on the moon. What? And it's like life on Earth sucks, right? Well, why don't you just buy a spot on the moon and you can go up there and live in luxury? You don't have to worry about anything anymore if you buy these things on the moon. And because things are so futuristic and stuff, it's believable, right? But it's actually completely false. The man who is selling, like the leader of this sales group or whatever, he's like the manager of this team, and it's all crap. There's nobody up there. There's no houses, no awesome lots, nothing like that. But his entire sales team does not know that. So this manager guy is basically like a con man. What he's been doing with the money, I don't know. But he's been traveling for so long, and what they do is they sell tickets to whatever, and then they leave town. And then those people who are like, okay, my launch date is here, their launch dates keep getting moved back and back and back, so nobody ever goes to the moon. Well, trouble starts to catch up with him, because he decides to stay in a specific town because his son is there. But his son does not know who he is because this man, who's actually a terrible person, but you like him, he abandoned his family and his son years ago. And I don't know why he's come back, but he finally met his son and now he wants to stay. Well, a con man who is selling crap should never stay in town. And things just start to fall apart. And it gets pretty crazy. Now, towards the middle of the season, I was starting to get bored. And then towards the end, I was like, okay, this is a good show, but can it be over? Because I want to watch something else now. But the last, 15 seconds of the last episode was so shocking that I'm hooked. And it's like, I gotta know what's gonna happen in the second season. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but something happens at the very end of the last episode that is just, what is going to happen? Oh my gosh, it's good. It's good. It does get kind of dry in the middle, but it's worth it to get to the end. If you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, you will understand if you watch it. Okay, the next thing that I watched was a movie, and it is called Knock at the Cabin, and I watched it on Peacock. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 67%. Audience score gave it a 63%. I agree. That's a fair rating. It stars Dave Bautista and Jonathan Groff and a bunch of other people. But those are like the two big names. Okay, so what is this movie about? It's about having to make a difficult choice. So there's this family that go on vacation in the woods. They're staying at this cabin in the woods. It kind of reminds me of like I can think of like Verbo, or is that what it's called? Verbo? I don't know. But like when you can rent a house online and then just go there. Yeah, it reminds me of that. And these two guys, so it's two dads and a daughter. And their daughter is like collecting grasshoppers outside, and through the woods comes slowly walking up Dave Bautista. And Dave Bautista is a massive giant, and this little girl is like so tiny, so he's extra scary looking. But he's not scary. He's actually very nice to this little girl, whatever, but he kind of freaks her out, so she runs away to tell her dads, hey, there's somebody in the woods, and they're saying they're going to come into our house, and we have to let them in, and this is freaky. And the dads are just like, what are you talking about? And then there's a knock at the cabin door. And the dads start to get scared, and they're like, we don't want whatever you're selling. And they're like, we're not selling anything, we just want to talk to you. If you open the door, we can explain things more, but if you don't, we're coming in anyway. So they don't let these guys in, and they bust in. There's four people. I think it's like 2 girls and two guys. And yeah, so when they come in, there's a fight, but they overtake the dads, and so they basically tie the dads up, and they're like, look, you have to make a choice. One of you is going to have to sacrifice yourself, and we will kill you, and we will save the world. if you do not do this, the world will fall and plagues will cover the world and like everything. It kind of felt like biblically to me, and I was just like, I didn't like that. But the two dads are just like, you're crazy, we're not killing anybody, you guys have all lost your minds, you know. And so they're like, okay, maybe you don't believe us, let's introduce ourselves, and then you'll get to know us and maybe you can understand and then you can choose. And they're like, we're not choosing, whatever. So they're like, okay, the time has come, who are you going to make the choice, who is going to die? They're like, no, F you, we're not making any choice, you're crazy. And so one of them is like, you did this. So he goes in front of the two dads and basically kills himself because they didn't make a choice. And they're like, oh my gosh. And then they turn on the TV and they're like, there was a massive earthquake and tidal or tsunami, whatever, and you know, crazy stuff is happening. But that had happened previously to their choice. So they're like, this is fake, you know. So it continues on. And it's just, at first you feel like this is fake, they're crazy, and then you're like, oh my gosh, is this real? And you don't know if it's fake and they're crazy or if it's real, and you have to make a choice until the very end. And then when you get to the end, you know, and you're like, would I be able to make that type of choice in this situation? It's really like, it's a movie that really makes you think, you know what I mean? But like, I don't know, what would you do in that situation? Like, it's crazy. It's good though. Okay, the next thing that I watched is a show on Hulu, and it is called Up Here. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 58. Audience score gave it an 87. I don't know how I feel about the show. It stars Mae Whitman, who I absolutely love, and then Carlos Valdez. I've never seen this guy before, and in the show he's alright, but I feel like those two don't have like the chemistry that I want, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I just feel like there should be another person for that guy's role. No offense to that guy, it's just, I don't know, it was weird. But the whole show is weird. It kind of reminds me of that Disney movie Inside Out, where inside their head they have these characters that are constantly freaking out or telling them what to do and blah blah blah. But these people are just normal. It's not a cartoon or anything like that. It's just like people, you know, just like a regular show. But they're walking around and they have these characters basically following them around, like on Inside Out, but they're outside of their body. And these characters that are commenting on their life or whatever are supposed to represent what's going on inside their brain, right? So like the guy, he has the character of his mom, and he has the character of this one time his girlfriend cheated on him with this guy. He has no idea what this guy's name is or anything like that, but that guy had such an effect on his life that now that guy is in his head all the time, like judging him and trying to get him to man up and stuff like that. And the girl, she has her parents. Her parents are both in her head, and her best friend from like junior high, and they all, like, everything that goes on in their life, they're making little comments. And those little inside voices in your head or in their head kind of mess with their decision making, and it's like they should be making choices like this, but because of these voices, not in a crazy way, but because of the, people, they don't do what they should do because those little voices are like giving them bad advice or judging them, making them unsure of themselves. It's really kind of cool. The thing that I'm like, about it is I was not expecting it, but it's a musical as well, but it works. Like, it's like, you know how Disney movies, they'll just break out into song or whatever, and it's like, it's weird. This isn't weird. It's like a Disney movie, like on steroids or something. Like, it's really good, but there are certain points where it's like, okay, I get it, you need to sing about this, but could you do it faster? Like, just get there faster, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, sometimes it gets annoying. So, but the girl, Mae Whitman, is perfect. She's perfect, and she's funny, and like, her facial expressions are great. She's good. The guy, Carlos Valdez, I just don't feel like they have chemistry, and I don't feel connected to his character at all. And I don't know why. I want to, but I just can't. I don't know. It's good. It's just about these two people who meet and they kind of fall in love, but their inner voices affect their relationship, and they keep coming apart and then coming back together and going apart, and it's just like a back and forth type thing, inner sabotage of their relationship, their life, basically. So it's interesting, but it's weird. So okay, the next thing that I watched was a movie. It is called Triangle of Sadness on Hulu, and Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 71. Audience score gave it a 67. It stars Harris Dickinson, Charlby Dean Creek, Woody Harrelson. There's a ton of people in this movie. I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks weird. What is this about? I'll watch it because I was bored. And it is a weird movie. It's almost like 3 separate movies that are smushed together, but it's really good. So it starts out following this like celebrity model influencer couple, and they are invited on like this uber rich like luxury private cruise type thing, and so they go on it and you get to see like pieces of their life and then the other characters on the ship or whatever. But then something happens, and I don't want to give it away. It's funny, but it's also like the whole time you're like, what the hell am I watching? What is this? But something happens on this luxury cruise thing that affects the whole rest of the movie. And then when you get past that part and you get to the rest of the movie, like, I don't want to say too much, but like the life that they had at the beginning of the movie, their celebrity model influencer life, is destroyed, and their life at the end of the movie is the exact opposite. It's like, how low can you go as a person, right? And then something happens at the very end where you just jaw drop and you're just like, no. Like, I'm getting emotional thinking about it now. Like, it is just super messed up movie. And then when you're done, you're just like, I don't know what to feel. Like, what the hell did I just watch? And now, like, I don't know. It's so good. It's so good, though. It's totally worth the watch. And I know that wasn't a good description of it, but I can't describe it without ruining things for you. So, if you just want to watch a very, like, what the hell type of movie, this, you have to watch it. It's so good. And it's another one of those ones where it makes you think about your life and, like, what really matters and what would you do in this situation. You know what I mean? Okay. The next show that I watched is probably, there are two favorites. This is one of them. I always have, like, favorite things that I watch, and this is one of the favorite things that I watched. It is a show on Netflix called Transatlantic. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 93%. Audience score gave it a 78%. Those numbers could be different. Those are just the percentages of when I am recording the video, you know. But it stars Corey Michael Smith, Jillian Jacobs, and Lucas Englander. This show is fantastic. It's a limited series, but I want more. I realize I can't have more because it's over, but it was so good. I just want more. But it's about this, I'm assuming an American journalist. I can't remember her name, but she is in France in 1940. So the World War II Nazi Germany stuff is happening, and this is actually based off of a true story. I am obsessed with World War II, the Nazi invasion, Holocaust type of things, and I had no idea that's what this was about. So when I realized what was going on, I was like, whoa. But yeah, so she's this American journalist person in France during the Hitler rise, you know, and crazy stuff. And so, like, Jewish people are trying to get out, and she actually helps arrange, like, safe passages out of France. And her father, an American, he's like, I'm assuming some super mega rich American, he funds her life. And he's like, he keeps writing to her, like, you need to leave, things are getting dangerous, you know, and she keeps saying no, because I'm helping, I want to stay, I'm doing important things here, which she was doing important things. She actually got over 2,000 refugee Jewish people to safety. Like, that's amazing. But it was good. It was like almost like a romantic movie, because there's this other character, I can't remember his name, but he's actually Jewish, but he has like a fake, I think he has a fake passport or something. He gets his sister out, but he says that he needs to stay because he can't stand by and let people die, you know. And even though he is Jewish, his passport says that he's something else. I don't remember what it is, but he risks his life to save these people. They all risk their life, and it's just about that. It's about them risking their lives and their safety to save people. It's really, really good. It's an intense movie, and at times it's scary, and it's like, it makes you think, if you were in that situation, would you just bail? Because a lot of people did. They were like, whatever, I'm out, and they would bail. And it's like, these people didn't. The courage that they had is just unbelievable, because they were in danger themselves. Like, that was a scary, scary time, and they faced that fear to save lives. Like, just, it's super good. Like, and I want more of it, because I'm invested in these characters now. And as soon as I was done watching the show, I was like, I gotta go find out what happened to this person. What happened to this person? Did this person get out? Like, it's so good. But the ending is kind of like heartbreaking, but that's life. Really, really good. I highly, highly recommend Transatlantic. Fantastic. Okay, the next show that I watched is something called Tiny Beautiful Things, and it is on Hulu. Rotten Tomatoes score gave it a 90%. Audience score gave it an 89%. I absolutely loved it. Hold on. Sorry, somebody just knocked on my door. Okay, so Tiny Beautiful Things. I can't remember where I was, but it's on Hulu. Rotten Tomatoes 90%. Audience score 89%. It stars Catherine Hahn and Sarah Pigeon and a bunch of other people, but I don't want to list them all. This is a mini series, so it's only supposed to be one season, but it is fully open for a second season. I think that it might just depend on if people want it, but it's based off of the book Tiny Beautiful Things, which I didn't know was a book until after the show was over. But it's about this woman who it's like a past present type of thing. Like, you see her in the past when she was much younger, and then you see her in the present right now. And in the present right now, her life is crap. It's crap. It starts out, her husband kicks her out of the house because she betrayed his trust. She took money out of their daughter's college fund to give to her brother to pay off some house or something like that. And she was like, I was gonna put it back. You gotta do this for family. And the husband was just like, no, you're out. I think there was more going on in the relationship before, but you don't get to see that, Anyway, but this woman, she works in a nursing home or something like that, like an assisted living care place. But she is a wannabe writer. That's what she went to college for. That's her passion, is to write, but she put it on hold because when she was younger, she got a surprise pregnancy and she wasn't able to do the things that she wanted to do. She tried, but life got in the way. And her life right now is just crap. It is just a tornado disaster, okay? And you see pieces of her past that explain some things that are happening now. But I love her past because, I love the character who plays her mom, and I can't think of who it is, but she was on Nurse Jackie. She's very awkward and stuff like that, and I just love her. But this woman played her mom when she was younger, and her mom sadly died of cancer very unexpectedly and fast. She had stage 4, like liver cancer or something, and they told her that she had a year to live, and she only made it like 3 weeks. Like, it was just so sad. But I don't know, it made me feel good to watch her past. I don't know, I just really, really liked it. And some things in the present get resolved. I don't know, I can't really say much about it because there's so many things that happen that it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's definitely a dramatic type of show, but not like, you know how Grey's Anatomy is a drama. It's not like that. This is like a really good show. There's like a lot of emotional things that go on, and there are some funny parts to it as well. You know, it's like you're watching a movie that's really, really long, and then when you get to the end, you just want more, you know. But it's a mini series, so it's I don't think there's going to be more, you know. Okay, the next thing that I watched is the second favorite thing. So I have 2 favorites, the Transatlantic and this next show. I actually watched it twice. That's how good it is. It is called Am I Being Unreasonable? It is on BBC, but I watched it on Hulu, and it stars Daisy May Cooper and Selin Hisley. You know, I'm the worst. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 93%. Audience score gave it 81%. I watched it twice because it was so good. I told my husband about it, and he agreed to watch it. He only watches things if I beg and beg and beg him to watch it. And then when he's done watching them, he's like, yeah, that was good. He only will watch good things. You know, it's either horror, scary stuff, you know, or something that I push him to watch. And I pushed him to watch this because it was so good. It's anything, like, it's unlike anything that I've ever watched before. There's really no way to describe it. It is a comedy. It is a romance. It is a thriller. It's scary. Like, it's so many things. And it's very unpredictable. And you know I love unpredictability. Like, it's shocking how unpredictable it is. Some of the things that come out of her mouth are like, did she just say that? It's amazing. Okay, so it's about this woman who had an affair. She cheated on her husband with his brother. And you find that out like real quick, right away. So I'm not giving anything away. And they were in love. They were going to run away together. And one day they were on this, I guess it was like a subway or a train or something like that. And they were like flirting or whatever and kissing, and he had to leave or something, and she was like kissing him or something, and she grabbed his coat by like this button thing and kissed him, but then the door shut and his coat was stuck in the door. And then they couldn't open the door. It wouldn't open. And he's screaming like, open the door, and she can't get it open. And the train finally stops, and he's like, thank God, they'll save me because I'm just dangling here, right? And then another train goes by. And he dies. And that's very, like, terrible, because the love of her life is dead. And it's just her having to cope with that. But it's also not anything about that. It's about her life as a mom and a wife, and just the crap that she has to deal with from neighbors and just life, really. And she meets a new friend, and she's shocked because she normally hates people, but she likes this friend. But there's something suspicious about the friend, and it starts to get creepy because this friend appears to be obsessed with her, but she doesn't know it. And a bunch of stuff happens, and it starts to get creepy and weird, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? What is this show? You know? And then something happens at the end that you're like, oh my gosh, it's so shocking that you're like, what I thought the show was isn't anything what I thought it was. What did we just watch? And it was so good. It's so good. There's no way to describe what. I asked my husband after he watched it. I was like, first of all, did you like it? He was like, yeah. He gets real mad when he likes shows too because he wants more. And this show just came out on Hulu, so season 2 isn't even being recorded yet. You know, he gets real mad when I have him watch a show that he can't keep watching, you know. But I'm like, I just needed you to see that so you know how I feel now, you know. But I was like, how would you describe that? How do I describe that? And he was like, there's no way. There's no way to describe what we just watched. And it was so good that he binged it in one day. There's 6 episodes and they're 30 minutes. So it's not that difficult. But at the end of every episode, he was like, what the hell? Let's keep going, you know? So, yeah. It's really, really good. Really good. Okay. The last thing that I watched just because I had to see it. I was expecting trash. It is Cocaine Bear. It's a movie on Peacock. Rotten Tomato score gave it a 68%. Audience score gave it a 71%. It stars Kerry Russell and O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Christian Convery. I don't know. There's actually quite a bit of people in this. But if you've seen the trailer, like it looks like it's gonna be a terrible movie, you know. But I wanted to see it because it is a new movie on Peacock, you know. It is based off of it says based off of true events. It's based off of one true event. Let's just put it that way. In 1985, there was a bear that ate cocaine. There was a plane, like a drug plane going by, and the plane was like going down, and so the guy who was in the plane started dumping cocaine all through this forest, and then he was going to jump out, but when he jumped out, he hit, I don't want to ruin it, but when he jumped out, he fell to his death. And that's the true story. That actually happened. But the way that he died, they don't specifically know. Some people have all these different, like after I watched Cocaine Bear, I watched Cocaine Bear, the true story. And so there's some speculation about how he died, fell to his death, you know. But that's the story. And the bear was in the forest, and he came to a package of cocaine. It was like 95% pure cocaine or whatever, so it was like, and he just ate it. He ate the package of cocaine, and in the movie, it's very graphic, it's funny, but this bear gets all cocaine crazy and just goes nuts and starts killing people. It's very graphic, and it's funny. It's funny. It seems stupid. It seems real stupid. Like, this movie's gonna suck. But it wasn't. It was a blast to watch it. Like, for real. Like, when I was done watching it, I felt like I had just gotten off a roller coaster ride. Like, it was exciting. It was very entertaining. It was so good that I told my husband about it. He was like, I don't want to see that. That looks stupid. I was like, it's not stupid. You have to watch it. Please, 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 please. So he watched it. He was like, I'm so glad I watched that movie. That was so great. And I was like, don't you feel like you just got off of a roller coaster ride? And he was like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I don't know. It was really good. Really good. And just so entertaining. And Elizabeth Banks was the one who made the movie. Like, she directed it, and I think she wrote it or something. And the first time when it was over, the first time I watched it by myself. I literally was like, whoa, good job, Elizabeth Banks. Like, I had no idea you had it in you, you know. It was just great job. Fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, that is all the stuff that I watched this month. I really hope that you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.